In my head.
Hello everyone, welcome to In My Head. Two quick things. The first, I am from the United States of America, so if you're from a different country, a different culture, the things I say, they may not apply the same to you. Number two, I'm not a licensed professional. Dismissive people. Ugh. They make you feel like you're worthless. It's so hard to have a conversation with them, and sometimes it just feels like they're everywhere. Here on In My Head, I give my take on mental health issues, and today we're focusing on 7 types of dismissive people. It's not always obvious when somebody's being dismissive, so I thought it would be good to point out different ways that it can happen. Before we get into this though, I want to remind you that we can all be dismissive sometimes. Not right now, I'm doing something. When dismissive behavior becomes a problem is when we start to make this a pattern in the way that we relate to people. When this happens, it's emotionally abusive. This is especially true the more intimate our relationship with the person. So let's look at the ways that dismissive behavior shows up in different types of dismissive people. Number 1 is mean people. I don't want to hear it. Quit being a baby. Get away from me. This type of person is just rude at any hint of expressing emotions. They just get nasty about it. They're typically loud and vocal. They defend themselves from experiencing emotions by just being mean. Number 2 are self-centered people. Oh, that's like what happened to me. Let me tell you a story about that. Well, I wouldn't react like that. This type of person turns everything away from you and towards them. Whatever it is that you're experiencing, they had it worse than you. They also handled it better than you. Their story is clearly more important than yours is. It's no longer about your emotions and your experience. Now it's all about them. Similarly, number 3 is the subject changers. Remember that time we went in the woods? Hey, what are we having for dinner? Look at this. This person dismisses your emotions by diverting attention somewhere else. It doesn't always have to be about them, but they take what you're talking about, your emotions, your experience, and they divert it somewhere else to another topic. No matter how many times you try to bring the topic back to how you're feeling and what you're experiencing, what you're going through, they find a way to move the conversation into something else. Number 4 are the helpers. Well, why don't you just try relaxing? Okay, just calm down. Try focusing on something else. The helper usually means well, and sometimes they may actually be giving you helpful advice, and this is why it's confusing as to why you feel dismissed. The problem is that they're giving you advice and they're skipping over how you feel, the emotions you're experiencing, and what you've told them. They don't acknowledge the way that you're experiencing things. They skip this step and they go right into telling you what you should be doing, probably suggesting something that you've already tried before. Sometimes they come off as if they have this attitude that they know better for you what you should be doing than you might know for yourself. Number 5 are the blamers. Well, what was your part in things? Stop making excuses. It's time you learn to control yourself. Blamers become uncomfortable when you bring emotions to them. It stirs things up inside of themselves, and they don't want to feel that anxiety, so what do they do with it? They push it back out towards you. They'll find all kinds of different reasons to blame you for why you're experiencing what you're experiencing. They'll blame you for being in the situation in the first place. They'll blame you for how you reacted to it. In general, they blame you for not being perfect. Number 6 is the disappearing act. This type of dismissive person is noticeably quiet. They don't respond to your messages. They start to spend less and less time with you. The more that you encourage expression of emotions, the less that you see them around. They don't like emotions, so they avoid the emotions and they avoid you. The 7th type of dismissive person is the body snatcher. I told him what to do. He's going to go to the party. He knows better. This type of person dismisses you by speaking for you to others. Sometimes they'll do it right in front of you. It's as if you don't exist. They make decisions for you. They talk over you. It's as if they've taken your body and they speak for you. Now, just a reminder, we are all of these people. Every now and then, we may become dismissive of somebody else's emotions and somebody else's experience. Sometimes we just get busy with life and we don't have time for other people. Other times, we're dealing with our own anxieties and our own difficulties, and we just can't hear when somebody else is coming to us asking for help. We may try to take shortcuts in communication and try to help somebody without really hearing what the problem is in the first place. All of this is normal and okay. It's only a problem when it becomes a pattern. Also a reminder, it's probably not a great idea to be categorizing people into these different kinds of boxes. This is just a way to illustrate the different ways that people might dismiss us. Sometimes it's easier to spot the pattern when we have concrete examples. Now, if you find that you're around people who are dismissive regularly, find ways to set boundaries with them, limit your time and exposure to them, because remember, when this is a pattern, this is emotionally abusive. If you have difficulty setting boundaries, if you have difficulty speaking up for yourself, maybe you've been surrounded by people like this your whole life, you may want to consider seeking out a therapist who can help you to build up some resilience and be able to speak for yourself. It can really wear away at your self-esteem when you're around dismissive people all the time. It is so frustrating when you feel like you can just never get anywhere with them. Knowing when you're being dismissed will help you make the decision of whether or not to spend time with this person and have patience with them. Remember that your emotions and your experience matters. This week I did more videos on dismissive people and dismissive behavior, so check those out if you want to learn more about this. If you're somebody who has trouble with self-esteem and boundaries, over on my Patreon page, I have some free worksheets for you. I use Patreon to support people who do what they love and who give me some value, because I know how much work goes into doing things like this. If you want to support me, I'd be grateful. Thank you to all the patrons who are already helping me in my mission of humanizing mental health. Speaking of mental health, if you're into mental health, if you want to keep your mental health in good shape, why not join me over on youtube.com/RyanLiberty, hit subscribe. So tell me, did you know that these behaviors were dismissive? Do you see them in yourself sometimes? Did I miss anything? I want to know. Let me know down in the comments below. Thank you for joining me on In My Head. Oh, they're gonna hit subscribe. I told them to.